My name is Karen van der Spek from the city of Rotterdam, and I'm the program coordinator for Rotterdam Loopt, which means Rotterdam Walks. And my colleague José Besselink is an urban planner for the city of Rotterdam and is part of, and we are part of the same team. In this session, we will take you on a walk on our path through our first pedestrian policy. And because the ticket to this session tells you that this will be a walk through Rotterdam, we will start with a walk through Rotterdam. It's a film which we made to open Walk 21 in 2019. So it might look as if we didn't consider the COVID measures, but apart from that, this movie is still quite accurate for the situation in Rotterdam still. So let's start with this video.
Welcome to Rotterdam, the second biggest city of the Netherlands. Rotterdam keeps growing. To keep Rotterdam healthy and attractive, we create more and more space for people by putting pedestrians first. Because a walkable city is a healthy city.
Mijn naam is Matthijs van der Poel. Ik ben huisarts in Rotterdam-West. En sinds 2,5 jaar wandelen we 2 keer in de week met onze patiënten. Wandelen is echt de leukste stap naar een gezonder leven. We proberen met het looprecept onze patiënten meer aan het bewegen te krijgen, meer bewustwording te creëren, meer sociale contacten.
Ik loop al een paar maanden met de huisarts. En het gaat goed. Ik merk het aan mijn gewicht. Nou, het is goed voor je gezondheid. En gezellig, want we kletsen met elkaar tijdens het lopen. Hij geeft ons echt een push.
During the past 15 years, Rotterdam invested heavily in public space. The central station and its surroundings have been transformed into an open walking gateway to the city centre. The Koolsingel becomes a broad city boulevard with more space for walking. But we are not there yet. Like all big and growing cities, Rotterdam faces many challenges. In the city, we take temporary measures to explore and experiment with the city of the future. We create parklets for leisure and bike parking. We transform parking spaces into green zones. Because a walkable city is also a smart city.
Nou, we staan hier op Stationsplein in Rotterdam, omdat we hier willen gaan onderzoeken wat het gedrag van de voetganger is en omdat we graag de veiligheid willen verbeteren. Er zijn boodschappen op straat aangebracht waarop we voetgangers en fietsers attenderen om contact met elkaar te maken, wat hopelijk leidt tot een veiligere oversteek. Verder willen we onderzoeken of we ze kunnen leiden naar een smallere zebrapad, om te kijken of de smallere oversteek dus de verkeersveiligheid verbetert.
A walkable city is a city for everyone, no matter what age, background, or physical condition. So our city professionals take to the streets with residents to see how they experience their surroundings in terms of well-being. We stimulate initiatives to make people move and walk, like Walkable Neighborhood.
Ik ben ondersteun van humanitariërs, maar eigenlijk ben ik vader in de wijk. Voor het meest belangrijkste punt, ouders. Waar zijn de ouders? Kom naar buiten. Dat kan heel veel betekenen in de wijk. Binnenkort we gaan starten met lopen in de wijk. Echt groep vrouwen. Ze gaan hierheen vanavond bloemop lopen tot bij zo'n park. Wij luisteren graag naar die wijk. Wij luisteren graag naar die mensen. Hoe gaan wij bewegen? Hoe gaan wij met onze kinderen? En dan komt het idee, was een vrouw hier aan het bewonen is een vrouw. Zeg ja, hoe gaan wij gewoon van erin lopen? Nou, ik zeg, ga maar starten. Ik ga jullie steunen. Ik ben ondersteun in de wijk. Nou, ze gaat binnenkort starten. En zo begint eigenlijk. Straks wordt reclame mond in de mond. Wordt er straks drukker.
The Netherlands generally has been a little bit lazy about thinking about the pedestrian. They've been so successful with the bicycle that I think they've kept their focus on that. But actually, more people are walking than cycling, believe it or not. And so the departments about safety, thinking about the environment, people about planning and mobility, they're all coming together and really understanding how if we can invest in making Rotterdam a more walkable city, we're actually making it better for all of the priorities for what the city wants to achieve.
So, let's walk the talk together in Rotterdam. Learn, inspire, and discover Rotterdam as a walkable city.
Well, that was a nice walk through Rotterdam. And now I would like to introduce José Besselink, who will tell you a bit more about our walk to a pedestrian policy for the city of Rotterdam. José, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Karen. So after hosting the conference, Walk 21, which really worked as an accelerator in our city, we started to develop our very first policy on walking, as Karen already mentioned. First, a bit of a context. You've just seen some footage of the city today, but our city has been bombed during the World War, and after the war, the city had to be rebuilt from scratch, the city center. And the urban planners were kind of given a blank canvas to develop what they said to become the most modern city in the Netherlands, which actually meant that it was a kind of a car-dominated city. But nowadays, and this is what you have probably been discussing during the conference, we've seen a paradigm shift occurring towards a more people-centered city where we put pedestrians and cyclists first. And we've also seen that when your street design allows it, people will come. And these are a few examples of reconstructions where we have redesigned our streets and the boulevard along the River Meuse, but also streets in neighborhoods where we have eliminated car parking on one side of the street in order to create a wider pavement and give people some more space. Key is we need policy, and policy to create a healthy and attractive city. There's our Rotterdam ability approach, division on public space, our local agreement on health prevention. And these are kind of overarching policy documents setting the agenda for a more focused and detailed policies for road safety, for cycling, as well as for walking. So it was both the Rotterdam ability approach and the other policy documents that were very important in putting the pedestrian on a pedestal. But even more important was hosting the conference. And because of hosting the conference, we, on the one hand, gathered a lot of new inspiration, data, and information ourselves. We were able to showcase our city and, most important, politicians, and directors in our city development department became aware of the importance of walking. So this was the first step, and in 2020 we have implemented this Rotterdam Walks program. I've shared a link with you to the job document, and we aim to put the pedestrian on a pedestal. We want to create a walking culture to make people aware of the positive effects of walking. Walking is the most easy and accessible way of getting exercise. It's good for your health. But we also want to make people aware of their decisions. Why don't you just go walking or cycle to the supermarket if it's only 1 kilometer away from your home? This is the main umbrella of the vision. And we have focused this towards action. So from ambition to action, the main pillars in this vision, the core concept is related to creating a healthy city where people are invited to have an active lifestyle, but also where the city itself is a healthy environment, for example, in terms of air quality. And the other core concept in this vision is related to accessibility and proximity. This concept of the 15-minute neighborhood is very important on this. So getting further on this, we have organized our program in 3 tracks. So we are focusing on link and place. This means that we are developing a pedestrian network, actually mapping out the most important routes and places in our city for the pedestrian. And this is related to the design principles that we are developing as well. Another important topic in the link and place track is accessibility, and we are about to start a project related to decluttering the streets, the pavement, to make people more aware of obstacles on the pavement. And this also relates to the second track, awareness and promotion. Part of our program is about physical interventions and investments in public space, but it also means that we are on a mission. We need to make our colleagues and the citizens in our city more aware of the importance of walking. This means that we are also planning to organize activities, interesting walks, and relate this to different target groups like employees. Then at last but not least, and very important part, is to gather knowledge and do more research on this topic. For over a long period, we actually have been neglecting the topic of the pedestrian, and we are now member of a national platform, the National City Deal on Walking, where we cooperate with other cities and national ministries to gather more knowledge and data on the pedestrian. So these are the most important parts of our policy, and Walk 21 has always been a very important foundation for the city of Rotterdam. We collaborate with the foundation, and a few weeks ago we also partnered up in the Walk 21 conference in Seoul. And to give you some more insights, we decided to share another video with you, which shows our alderman, Vice Mayor Judith Bokhoven, who showed the results actually of our ambition Rotterdam Walks, as well as an interesting insight in one of the important projects in our city, the Cool Single. If you might know the city, you've seen the reconstruction of this boulevard in the city center in the previous video, but it has been finished and the city is very proud of it. And we would like to share a small part of this video to show you what the next steps in this Rotterdam Walks program will be. And Karen will now start the video.
The municipality of Rotterdam hosted this conference in 2019. And up until this day, that conference still works as an accelerator for us. We have launched our very first agenda on walking policy last year. It was launched in October 2020 during the National Pedestrian Conference. Rotterdam was one of the Dutch cities to sign the National City Deal, linked to the National Agenda on Walking. This agenda is a collaboration of cities, ministries, and social organizations that want to create more space for walking. There are also visible examples. Last month, the Koolsingel, this street where I am standing right now, was reopened after a renovation that took 2 years. We have reduced the amount of space for cars and gave more room to pedestrians for walking, because we found out that more people were walking rather than driving. And there is more to come. With the focus we set on pedestrians and cyclists in the Rotterdam mobility approach, we as a city decided to choose 7 big urban projects to create safe, spacious and attractive areas for walking. One of them is the Hofplein, which looks like this right now. In a few years, this area will look and feel like a park. We need to keep the momentum that the coronavirus gave us. This crisis gave walking and the attention for pedestrians a boost. Walking was one of the few modes of exercise that was still possible and allowed. This translated into a rise in model shift of +8% for walking in the Netherlands. It's up to us to keep the momentum going. Your Walk 21 conference will play an important role in this. It gives countries the opportunity to share experiences and motivate and inspire each other to get more people to walk and make way for pedestrians worldwide. Keep on walking.
Well, I believe we have a few minutes left, so if anyone would like to ask a question, drop a line in the chat box. I've also shared our email addresses with you. In case you want to get in touch with us, feel free to send us an email.
Oh, Nicolas says, thank you for the presentation and inspiration. Well, thank you for joining us and really liked to be here.
Bronwyn saw a presentation with BMW. That's interesting.
Well, I think BMW and the City of Rotterdam and electric cars, the City of Rotterdam works together with BMW. So, and the person who is talking to BMW is really aware of that we are having a walking strategy in place. So, I think that will be okay.
Yeah, but it's good to mention.
Good to mention, yes.
And good for us to be aware of these other projects that are occurring in the city. Okay. They didn't ask about walking in their mode of travel to work. I think, Bronwyn, it's good that you've shared this, and we now have this signal that it's important to get in touch with the colleagues. Maybe, but
we can remind them that walking is also a mode to travel to work. So yeah, thank you.
And indeed, Martin, if he is involved, we will also talk to Martin. And well, I would like to invite anyone to come and visit the city to walk and to experience the city yourself. Nicolas is looking forward to come and visit the city. So let's hope for the best. And I think the program will continue with other meetings. And thank you for joining us. And feel free to reach out if you have any further questions. Enjoy the rest of the conference.